All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to This Week Unloaded. Tonight we have with us the Kingpin himself, David Bowling. How are you tonight, sir?
Alrighty, thanks for having me, Rich.
Yep, no problem. Make sure we are live right now. Says schedule. What the hell? It doesn't say we're live. I'm sitting there on the window for this, and it's not live. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, there it goes.
Did it kick in?
Yep,
All right.
Seven
Yep.
Wonders
There
is
we
out
go.
there.
Yeah, I saw. Um, yeah, welcome, guys. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty getting the show started, but we are back, and I can't say we're better than ever. I mean, you know, we're not Eric Bischoff. If you guys know Fox Wrestling and see that. Yep. Uh, all right. Seven Wonder says we see and hear you. All righty. Seven, you have a link, man. So if you want to jump in, you're more than welcome. Has anyone? Pew Pew wants to know if anybody has used a Dremel to do an 80% lower. Nope, can't say I have. Of course, I haven't done an 80% lower either, so
There's
no,
plenty
can't
of
help you there.
there's videos on YouTube like that guy Joe Smith that hangs out in Sand Hills chat. He did a video,
Mhm.
but your best resource would probably be checking with Dead Horse over on Gun Channels.
Yeah, from everything I heard, it's better to use a drill press. But if you don't have a drill press and you have a Dremel, Dremel does have a kit where you put your Dremel in it and you can use it like you would a drill press. It's got the arm, it's got a little stand that you put it in, and it's got the arm that you would pull it down, just like with a drill press. So that might be an option. I think somebody makes one for hand drill too, where you could you put your hand drill in there, and then you can you got the little lever and everything to make it operate like a drill press. So that might be your best bet. Man, that's no excuse, Seven. How many times have they ate dinner when doing this show? Come on. He said he can't jump in right now because his wife's making dinner. Uh,
Yeah, I'd still Pew Pew Park. I would still check with Dead Horse. He's pretty much the resident AR expert, and he'd be able to if he doesn't know the answers, he can definitely point you in the right direction.
yeah, you might be able to do. I don't know if anybody's ever done it with a Dremel. If it was a polymer lower, but you're talking an AR, not a Glock. So hmm. Well, yes, Stacy. We're actually live, and you have a link. You could have actually came in here and asked us this. So my answer was better, Kingpin. So eat while doing the show, man. I got no qualms about people eating on air. Like I said, I've done it how many times? Come on. But anyway, yeah. Plans on doing a Glock 80 somewhere down the line. Yeah, I'm waiting to see if the come out, like the one company was saying if they're going to do the Smith and Wesson frames, because I might do it like an M&P, but I'm not a Glock person, so I just don't have any plans on doing a Glock 80%. I don't even own a regular Glock, so. But if somebody comes out with one for like an M&P, I might try putting one of those together. I mean, what's the worst I can do is screw it up. Screw up the frame. Yeah. Well, it is what it is, right? Stacy's joined us. How you doing tonight, ma'am? Okay. You there, Stacy?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. How you doing tonight?
Good. I didn't get the notification that I had an email. I just got the notification that you went live.
Yeah, I sent you. Yeah, I sent the emails like an hour ago.
Well, maybe I was driving and didn't see it.
Possibility. Anyway, first thing I wanted to talk about tonight was, for those of you who have been following on the various chats and everything, my Mossberg Shockwave has been a project gun. And some of you might remember I ordered a pistol grip for it. Well, that finally came in this week while I was feeling like crap. And I finally got that in, and I got it on the shotgun. Or, no, it's not a shotgun, right? But here it is. Here's what it looks like on the Shockwave. I'll give you a full view so that you guys can see how well it matches up with the rest of it. But there's the grip. The nice wood with aluminum frame. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get you. Y'all see that the grain on the wood and everything good there? And you can see the company logo there on the bottom. And you'll notice there's no hole on the bottom because this does not use a standard grip screw. What this comes with is a little titanium bolt about yay big that you have when you take off the panels and you put it in up and through here using a wrench. You put the wrench in here and you tighten it down. Yep. And it's got the more modern style, almost straight down instead of the angled back like what you would see on the A1 and A2 grips. And it's actually it's a big grip. If you got small hands, this might not be the grip for you. Maybe, maybe not. It depends on, I guess, your preferences. But you can see that is pretty thick. So that's what we got on here, and it was $130 some for that grip, just the grip itself. Again, I ordered this the end of May. I believe it was May 30th, actually, that I ordered this. Got it in earlier in the week. So then when I ordered it, they said there would be a 2-month period, a wait period, but it ended up being a 3-month. And when I emailed, about 2.5 months in, I emailed them to try and get an update on that and didn't get any response. So I don't know how good their customer service department is, but the finished product is pretty nice. So, and we have been joined by Calaveras, Tactical Pickle himself. How are you tonight, Calaveras?
Doing all right over here. How about you guys?
Yeah, better than what I had been. That's for sure.
Okay, Snob's wife, if I may ask, how do I add an avatar on this? Because this is the first time I've used Chamber.
Okay, you got to go to Gravatar, which is the website that makes the software that Nightstrike used for the to put this together with. And if you enter in if you have your avatar linked to your Gmail or your Google account, just put in your Google information, then you just come over here and go to settings and sign in with your email.
Oh, okay. I'll do that another time. Then I'm not gonna worry about it right now.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's just
Well, I've never been accused of being smarter than the average bear, so we'll see.
yeah, no, it's real simple. I mean, if Nightstrike can do it, it's got to be simple, right?
Hey, be nice to Jonas.
So, says the guy who just called him Jonas.
No, it's exactly my point.
Anyway, when you go to Gravatar and you sign in over there with your Gmail account, it'll upload if you have your logo on your, signed to your, or not Gmail, but your Google account, whatever email you use for your Google account. You go over there, you do that. Then you come back over to here. The three little dots underneath where everybody's listed on the right-hand side, you would click on that. Well, you're on your phone, so
yeah, it's above, but point being, it's the three dots and it goes to settings.
Yeah, and then you go to settings and you go click profile, and then you'll see where you enter in your nickname and then your email account that you use for Gravatar. And then you put that on there, you click OK, and it'll pull it up.
Got it. Anyhow, I just got home after spending the entire day in another town, for fiance's cousin's, twins' birthday party. So at least I had a few people around my age, but there was a whole bunch of 3 and 4 year olds running around today. So please help me restore my sanity. That'd be great.
I don't know if that's possible at this point.
Good
as
answer.
Somebody who chaperoned many school trips when my children were younger, it's going to take a while to get over that.
Well, my question is, did he ever have it to begin with?
Fair enough, Stacy. Fair enough.
Well, just it's a good question.
It is.
Yeah. Did you see what I was showing everybody, Cal, or were you in the process of connecting everything? You didn't get a chance to see it?
I have not, seen or heard anything from the chat as of yet.
Okay. Remember how I was waiting for the grip to get here to put on my shockwave, the pistol grip?
I remember it being mentioned at some point, yes.
Okay. It finally came in this week.
Awesome.
It's got an aluminum frame, wood scale. You can see it's on the thick side.
How does that work if you've got a stabilizer, the short barrel, and now the pistol grip?
It's still just it's still not a shotgun. It's still just a firearm.
Okay.
As long as it's over 26 inches, it meets the standard to be a firearm still. And that's only counting the buffer tube. You don't count the brace itself in that measurement.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it's that 26-inch threshold.
Must be nice to live in a free state.
Yeah. Now, if I were to put a stock on this, then I would be in trouble. And the kitten is meowing his darn full head off. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I was just telling Kingpin around about it. The solid gray cat we had to get rid of him because he was developing health issues and we couldn't afford to take care of him. So we gave him to a retired couple that's going to make sure he gets the medical attention he needs. And the next day, my daughter was out in the kitchen. I'm sitting here in the living room. and we both hear what sounds like a kitten meowing. Right? We both think we're hearing things, but then we both acknowledge the fact that we hear it. And we look out the kitchen window, and there is this kitten hanging on the screen to our kitchen window, and that's who you hear meowing in the background right now.
I guess it was just meant for you to have a cat, right?
Yeah. Where'd he go? Come here. Come here. Here he is. This is Ranger.
Oh, how cute.
Named for, see how he's got like the markings on his face? Kind of looks almost like the Lone Ranger mask. That's where he got his name. But yeah, he was just hanging there on the kitchen window, meowing his little darn full head off. And he's been fixed. He's litter trained and everything. So we had a feeling that he got out from somebody's house, but we can't find the original owner. We looked around. We put up notices like on Facebook and Instagram and, you know, on the groups that they have for people that lost pets and whatnot. And nobody's claimed him.
Sounds like you did all you could, so yeah, I'd say you could keep him with a clear conscience.
He is a rambunctious little snot. Sometimes he wants to sit and lay on your lap and just fall asleep like George does to Gary. And other times he's like right now, he doesn't want to sit still. Which is typical for a kitten. I mean, he's not that old. He's maybe 5 months old right now. I mean, he's putting some weight on since he came in, so I don't know how long he was outside. But yeah, he was just going nuts, crying like he was scared, like something had been chasing him or something. The way he was acting. But yep, he's here now. My youngest wants to take him with her when she's done moving to her apartment. But I don't know about that. He does like trying to sneak out the door too. That's a problem. But he'll probably learn his lesson at some point. So, anybody got anything they want to talk about? Out there in the YouTube chats or in here?
Not really. I was actually just planning to ask if there was a topic tonight.
Yeah, no, I've been out of it for like the last 2 weeks. I really haven't been paying attention to much that's been going on. So we can do like a Q&A kind of thing. If people want to ask us questions and we can answer them or what have you. Anybody?
Well, that's right. I did hear the apparently the raid Area 51 thing ended up being very few people actually even showed up to the town near, and I guess only one idiot actually tried to get anywhere near the base. The rest of them just were kind of sitting back watching, hoping there'd be entertainment.
Yeah, I did hear something about that. Like one or two people showed up and one person got arrested or something. I didn't think very many people were going to show up once they actually maybe checked into what was going on there. I mean, there's signs all over that place saying if you get too close, then they have the legal right to just shoot you. So, I mean, trying to storm Area 51 is not the brightest idea in the world. That would have been pretty hilarious, though, to see Antifa try and storm that wearing their, black hoodies and whatnot.
Yeah, but most of the people that I think were interested in storming it to begin with were not the kind of people that you would necessarily accuse of having too many brain cells.
What was really funny, I don't know how many of you people watch professional wrestling out there, but there's a faction in New Japan Pro Wrestling called the Bullet Club, and they were going all in on this storming Area 51 because they were going to be over here doing a show with Ring of Honor. Like, it was fun. They were doing it as a joke thing, making fun of it. It was pretty hilarious. He kept saying that they were going to go and storm Area 51. It obviously they didn't do it, but the Bullet Club is like the trolls of the professional wrestling community. You know, they do stuff like that.
Well, I'm glad you explained who they were because I know nothing about pro wrestling.
Yeah, like they've shown up before at Monday Night Raw. You know, WWE's Monday Night TV show. You know, in the crowd and whatnot, and started trouble and whatnot. I mean, they can be on the rambunctious side, shall we say? But in a good natured trolling kind of way, you know.
Yeah, that's for that can be fun because that can get people interested as well. But yeah, I'll tell you, my grand total of knowledge about wrestling comes from Ellis's and Sarge's chats. So that gives you an idea what level I'm at.
No problem. Okay, we still connected?
Sorry, I can hear you. That's for. Are we still live on online?
Yeah, I guess we are. I got the having network connection issue thing pop up on my screen. That's what I was trying to figure out. Let me see. Are we still running on the YouTubes? Still says we're running on the YouTubes. So,
how many people are watching right now? Have we had any questions come in?
We have 7 people watching right now. That's what's nice about doing this. I can go over to YouTube and I can actually see what's going on the YouTube thing through the studio. And 7 says we're good.
So we had the Sun Snob watching us. That's good to know.
Yeah. Oh, he has a link, but he keeps making excuses about his wife cooking it, and so he hasn't jumped in.
Yeah, that's for, I don't know, depending on what's getting cooked, I can kind of understand it, because don't get me wrong, that's where I like talking to you guys and all, but if I've got good meals sitting in the table in front of me, I'm more interested in the food.
I've eaten while doing the show before. I've hosted a show while eating a steak and baked potato before. I came close to doing it tonight. Steak and potato wedges tonight. A nice tender sirloin tonight.
I'm more of a ribeye guy myself. And hey, I apologize if there's a lot of background noise. My neighbor just decided to fire up the lawnmower.
It happens. So, anybody have any out there or in here have any questions about the grip that I was showing?
Yeah, let's start with brand and where you got it.
It's an Indignant Arms. You order direct from them.
Website?
Yeah, it's and darn it, I know I can't remember where it was. Here, I'll look it up.
But I mean, if you would Google search Indignant Arms, they'll come up with a website. It's not some funky, okay, that's more what I was curious about.
They have their own website. They have a Facebook page. They're on Instagram.
Okay, because that's what I know. There's some of those. There's some businesses that I've done. I've bought stuff through before. It's like, oh yeah, this is our company name. This is what we sell. But our website name is totally nondescript. If you were to read it, you'd have no idea who the heck we were. So that's why I was just curious.
Yeah, I just put the link out there on the YouTube chat. So if anybody wants to check them out, And let's see. Let me find.
Be careful with that. You're going to get yourself a strike.
No, because it's not actually a firearm that I'm selling.
True. Although, we'll see if I get a strike on any of my videos, because that's where I'm non-monetized, so they don't look at me as closely. But one of my videos, I was showing some of my reload gear, and like calipers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I bought them all through Brownell, so I put the Brownell website link in the description.
Yeah, but here's their website. You can see they got all different colors and different woods and different color frames and screws, whatnot that you can hold together with. Go up here to products.
Do those only go to shotguns? Looks like they've got AR grips as well.
This is an AR grip that I put on this.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
if I can ever get back, if I can ever get where I can have a real, grip on my AR, I might actually have to look into one of those. So I kind of like that wood look.
And they have wood rail covers too, so you can match.
Nice, yeah, because that's for.
Yeah, so you can match your grip and your rail covers if you got a.
Yeah, my rail is a 17-inch key mod.
Yeah, I don't know if they have key mod. They have M-Lock. But you can put like little wood.
When I first ordered my rail, because I've had that a couple years now, the M-Lock was becoming more popular, but the key mod was still more prevalent at the time. So I bought the one that I could get easier. Especially since I was going with a 20-inch barrel, I wanted the longest handguard on it I could get. So that's why I went with the 17-inch handguard.
Yeah, I got key mod on my AR too, so don't feel bad.
Supposedly the M-Lock's stronger. I don't know. I'm not taking it to war, so that's why I just wanted a long. I remember in high school I used to really like the quad rails. But after shooting a couple ARs that had the M-Lock rails, sorry, not M-Lock, the pick rails, like heck, that's for those edges can bite into your hand if you shoot barehanded. So that's for. Okay, well, I want to have the option of slapping stuff on there if I ever choose to, but I don't plan on doing it right away. So I want something that's not going to bite into my hand. I mean, I could have put up with it; it didn't hurt. But it was just one of those, if I didn't have to, why would I?
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I didn't go with a quad rail. I went with the key mod because it's smoother. You don't got all. You're not putting your hand on a cheese grater essentially.
Right. Well, especially since the guys that I've shot with that learn to shoot from a bench, they don't move a whole lot when they're very rigid when they shoot. I learned to shoot in the field, so that's for. Literally out in a cattle field. So that's where I learned I naturally became a very fluid. That's where, and my entire body, moves with the recoil. So that's where I can actually handle the kick of a pretty decent sized caliber without it jarring me that bad. Because pretty much my feet don't move, but you'll actually watch my entire body just kind of absorb it. So of course it moves in my hands a little more, but whatever. Different styles, different folks.
Yep. And when you're looking on here on the website, I got one of the classic AR grips, these are what they have available in that. You got your Cocobolo, Indian Ebony, Indian Rosewood, Cherry, Maple, Walnut, and then the Wenge. And then if you go back over to the other one, you got what's premium wood, and these ones are the more expensive ones. You got Desert Ironwood, and then they have a carbon fiber one as well. As you can see,
okay, so that's for if you wanted to get really custom. Looks like you could buy that and then just use their wood panels as a template and actually make your own out of whatever kind of wood you want.
Yeah, they had, I believe, in the coming soon section or in miscellaneous one of the other areas where you can actually buy the grip frame separate and then make your own wooden scales for it.
Nice, yeah. That's where one of the things I do as a hobby is woodworking. So that's where I've worked with anything as plain as oak and pine to stuff as exotic as African padauk, which is a very unusual African hardwood, and that's for really pretty, but expensive as all get out. And that's for being able to make my own scales out of something really, really unique might be kind of fun.
Yeah, and you can actually have it where they'll serialize it to match the firearm you're putting it on.
Oh, for the guns that have to have that, because that's for, as far as I knew, the ARs didn't have serial numbers on the grips.
It might be. I don't know if that's theirs or you can put your own. It doesn't say, but well, no, you don't. But somebody might just want the word numbers match. Like how you get your AK, or your SKS, or your Mosin, and they have all matching numbers. I don't know, maybe something like that. I don't know. But it says serial number and logo, so it might just be their serial number that they put on the product. If you can get it with or without.
That's for if I had the skill with the small engraver. That's for be kind of cool. Make some wood grips and actually put my channel logo right into the grip of my AR.
Well, the logo and serial number is actually engraved into the aluminum of the frame.
Oh, got it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Like if you saw on mine that the bottom was where the logo was. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I just primarily saw the side shot, but that's fine.
Okay. Well, it's important that you see the bottom. So hold on, let me quit sharing this. There's an important feature about the bottom that makes this even more interesting here. Okay, are we back on camera? All right, camera's off. Turn the camera on. Yeah, if you look, that's solid on the bottom.
Yeah, it is. That's what it looks like. You've got about 1/8 inch of wood to either side of the aluminum with the fancy color-filled A on the bottom of the aluminum.
Well, it's an IA.
IA.
It's not color-filled. It's engraved. What looks like it's white is actually the silver of the aluminum. They engrave it through the anodization, and that gives you the black with the white outline.
Cool. Yeah, you might want to back it up a few inches from the camera because you're a little blurry.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get you where you can actually see what the logo is.
Yeah, I can see it. There you go. Now it's in focus better. But that's awesome.
The way you mount this is you have to take both panels off. It comes with the left side one off and the right side one on. You got to take the right side one. I found it easier. You probably could do it with the right side panel off, but I found it easier with it off. So I took it off, and then there's a little titanium screw that's like bolt that's like that big that you use to mount this up through inside here. Put it in this area, right in here, underneath here, and then you tighten that up into there using a wrench from the side. And I found it easier with that. The panel's on there to, the hand to start it with your fingers. You know what I mean?
Right. That makes sense. Most screws in tight areas like that are easier if you can get to both sides of them.
Yep. And then when I got the wrench and tightened it down, and if there's no wiggle or anything, no play, if it's right up on you can see I got the adapter on there. If you look and it fits snug right up against the adapter, the front right in here and on the sides, and then the back it's in there where it's supposed to be. I mean, this
looks well made.
Yeah, it's very well made. The anodization is super smooth. It's like buttery smooth. They did a very good job putting this together.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's for approximate dollar value. 25 to 50, 50 to 75 range. I'm just kind of looking at ballpark. What is that?
I paid $130 for it. Something for it. $138.
Okay. Yeah, for that kind of dollar value, it better be made well.
Yeah. And that's one of the cheaper ones. You get. If you looked at if you saw what the prices were on like the burl wood one, that was $400 and some. It's $450 before taxes and shipping Ironwood barrel. But that you got to take into consideration. Who's got the ice cream truck in the neighborhood? You got to take in consideration that desert ironwood barrel is the same kind of stuff that they put on the dashboards of Bentleys and the Rolls Royces. That's not a cheap wood by any stretch of the imagination. So $450, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, that's where if you want something that's made well and looks good, you're not going to find it for $1.99 on Wish.com. So I mean, you're going to have to expect to pay fair price for for a well-made item. But there's also a certain point where some companies, I'm not going to try and name any of on the show, but there are some companies that produce something that they charge $1,000 for, that their competitor producing just as good charges $700 for. So I mean, it's just how it is.
And pictures I got, I'm not screen sharing anymore. Well, let me go back to screen sharing so you guys can see what this burl wood looks like on here. All right, are we sharing over there?
I can see it. I can't promise anyone else can.
All right. Look at the grain in this wood. That is beautiful.
That is pretty. It's very, very unique.
Yeah. Right. I would have loved to have gotten one of those. I couldn't afford the $450 price tag on it.
Yeah, that's for $400 for a grip. That is definitely not in my price range either.
Yeah, but again.
Okay, that's for. Does yours? Yeah, you know what? Scratch that. Yes, it does. That's what has the finger grooves. That's for.
Yeah.
How does, in your experience, at least with your hand size, how does the finger grooves fit? That's one complaint I've heard a number of people say about guns that have the individual grooves is they work well for one hand size but not for another.
They fit, the grip fits my hand pretty well, but again, if you got small hands, it might not be to your liking. I don't.
So if you're midnight, it might not work.
Yeah, I don't have the smallest hands in the world, so I mean, it fits my hand pretty good. Now, my oldest daughter, she doesn't have really big hands or anything, and she liked the feel of it. So,
well, that's good. Yeah, because if I ever get to be able to put a regular grip on my AR, I might have to look into that one.
Who knows? Maybe they'll come out with a California legal version.
It'd be ugly as all sin, just like all the other California legal grips.
Well, they can just extend out the aluminum back here in the back. And maybe put a wood pan. They could extend that out and make the wood panel longer. Who knows? Maybe they'll just do a whole wooden where it just forms into the stock.
Yeah. Well, that's where they might not have to, though, depending on how court cases go. Yeah. That's where, if you guys remember earlier this year, California had what was dubbed Freedom Week, where we were able to buy magazines. Mm-hmm. Well, the judge that gave us that has recently been assigned the case challenging our assault weapons ban. So, I mean, depending on how that goes, we may be able to get back regular ARs and AKs again. I'm not holding my breath, but it's possible.
Yeah, that would be cool. But, I mean, anything's better than what you got now.
Yeah. Well, that's for how they managed to do it, I don't know. But that one judge has the assault weapons ban on his table. He has the ammo ammo background check on his table, and he passed the magazine, case up to the 9th. Yeah. So
a lot of that has to do with where the people that filed the lawsuits to where they would get them on his docket.
Yes, and that's where, and they filed it in his area in Southern California, San Diego area, I believe. But still, I can't imagine I can't believe he's the only federal judge in that area. So I mean, how they got all three to land with him is interesting. I'm not going to look to give horse in the mouth, though.
Yeah, really. On your phone, can you see the close up of that really good? I mean, look how that green just like has that swirl pattern in there.
Oh my god, that is gorgeous.
Isn't it?
That's a fine woodworker's dream right there.
Yeah, probably looking at that right there, it probably has like an iridescent look if you turn it when it'll get the light hitting it in different angles, you know?
Oh yeah, well that's right. I can tell you by the gloss on it. They've got a really nice, high quality clear coat on there. I don't know if it's acrylic or if it's lacquer based, but either way, it's got a nice clear coat on top of it, so it really gives it a nice pop. But that's where the burling and the knots and the overall grain pattern in that is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. And whether people out there realize this or not, $450 for something like this is not a lot of money.
No, it's not. That's a fair price for that type of quality. Yeah. Are those stainless steel Allen head screws?
Yes, you can get them in stainless, black, polished brass, or titanium with this grip.
Oh, I think the polished stainless really pops. I'd probably be one of those guys. Before I assembled it, I'd probably take those bolts and polish the head on them and really make them shiny to match that the shine on that wood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if they got a picture of the brass ones. I'm curious. See, there's the black, I think. Yeah, I can't get it closer up.
The black almost kind of blends in. Yeah. There's no contrast.
Yeah, there's the stainless again. Yeah, see, there's the black again. Trying to see if they got a picture with the brass ones. There's the brass, I think, isn't it?
That's interesting looking.
Yeah. That's either brass or titanium ones, I would think, right
there. Titanium has kind of a dull gold, I think. That's from what I know. I don't think it's super shiny. I don't know if it polishes up well. That, I would say, could be either one from that photo. I can't really... It's pretty small on my screen, but my guess would be brass on that.
Yeah, it doesn't really magnify much. That's as big as it magnifies stuff.
Well, that's where I'm looking at it on a Galaxy S10 Plus, so it's not the biggest screen to begin with.
Yeah, I got the standard S9. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and don't forget if you get this grip, you can get the matching M-Lock rail pieces for it. Oh, that would look sharp.
Oh yeah, with. Maybe Obnoxious needs to throw those instead of those on his unicorn gun.
Yeah, and then that would ruin the value of the grips.
Well, that's true.
Looks good on that polished aluminum frame too. Look at that.
Yeah, it does.
That's where you get your. You get those grips, you get your upper and lower in the white, and then you put that grip on there with that polished aluminum frame. Oh, that would look sweet.
That would definitely be a range toy at that point because it would look so fancy. I would not want to take that afield.
Yeah. I don't know if I would want to take it in the field with $450 grip on it either.
Right, that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, with it being that pretty, that would probably be padded case, take it to the range, carefully shoot it from a bench a few times, put it back in the case, take it home, and clean it. And then that'd be about it.
The thing is, if you got one of these, you then would have to find somebody that makes a matching stock to put on there. You know, an M1 style stock or A1 style stock, and
Or if you're a decent woodworker, you could actually you can make a stock for yourself. My senior year of high school, that's where in our wood shop, we actually had a guy that was making a replacement stock and forearm for his pump action shotgun in our wood shop.
yeah, but I don't think he was using desert ironwood burl to do it.
No, he was using black walnut burl.
Yeah, that's a pretty penny right there if you got to pay for that block of wood.
Oh yeah, that's where the reason why he was using black walnut is because it was donated to the school, so we were getting black walnut burl for the same price as we were getting oak, so that's pretty cheap.
Yeah. All right. I think we've seen enough of that. We don't need to keep screen sharing that.
Yeah. Any questions come through in the chat while we were talking?
I don't know. I wasn't looking at it. Okay.
Right. I was just thinking if we're transitioning to the next topic, we might want to have a next topic.
Everybody, still got people out there talking about the 80% lower.
80s. Those are fun. You know, I did hear a real quick blip on that when I first checked to see if you were live, and I heard you say something about best be using a drill press for that. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you really should use a drill press, but you could probably use a Dremel to do it. If you're pressed to do so. And they do have a kit out there where you can turn your Dremel into a little miniature drill press.
Yeah, that's where I've actually used them before. They're good for small, intricate work. I haven't used them a ton, but I have used them a little bit. It can be kind of nice. But yeah, if you're milling out your inside of your lower, you definitely want to have a very controlled, and you want to have your jig locked down pretty tight because you don't want anything to jiggle, and because you definitely can't afford to have a lot of burrs and defects inside that piece.
Yeah. I was wondering if maybe one of those kits where you turn your hand drill into a drill press might be a better option for doing it 80% lower. Because then you can use like the carbide tip drill bits and whatnot and get a nice smooth cut.
Honestly, if you're going to be doing it that way, rather than the carbide tip, I would go with a cobalt bit because it's a harder, stronger bit that drills cleaner, in my experience, and doesn't require as much sharpening.
Yeah, but would you need a cobalt bit for aluminum? I mean, I could see steel, but if you're using it on aluminum's softer.
Which is true. I mean, that's where I just prefer the cobalt bits over the carbides, in general. After the experience, 'cause I've used high-speed steel bits, I've used carbide bits, I've used, cobalt. I think I've used a titanium bit once. I just prefer cobalts, just because of the quality of them. Then again, also some of the stuff I've drilled before where I was building a roll cage out of chromoly steel, and I'd get about 4 holes and have to sharpen a bit.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, having had to drill steel before, like when I was in high school, we had go-kart club where we actually built go-karts. And not your build a go-kart and drive it in your, grandparents' driveway kind of go-kart. We were building racing go-karts.
Yeah, that's where the college I went to, they called it the Formula Team. It was a open wheel race car about 10 feet long, about 4.5 feet wide, and it had a 1,000 cc a sport bike motor in it, and it was gear limited to 95 miles an hour. But yeah, so the go-kart you were building would have been closer to that than it would be the Walmart specials with little 5-horse Briggs on it.
Yeah, we were building go-karts that were capable of doing like 65, 70 miles an hour.
And your high school was doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were doing that in high school.
Were you guys building them off of kits, or were you having to design them first?
We had to design them and then cut all the tubing and everything, bend it. The upperclassmen would weld them would do all the welding and stuff. Yeah.
Nice. What kind of steel were you guys using?
This was 20-some years ago, man. I honestly don't remember what it was. I know it was a tool steel, but I don't remember what one exactly. It was heavy carbon tool steel, heavy.
Okay, so it probably wasn't chromoly. It was just some good high quality steel. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's for one thing I loved about working with chromoly. That's the same stuff they use for roll cages in race cars.
Yeah,
it's pound for pound. It's stronger than steel, but it's lighter than steel. Its Achilles' heel is it rusts really easy.
Yeah, the little bit of the seat supports and those were made out of chromoly, and they were highly polished. But the frames and everything, they were just a standard tool steel that we would get powder coated.
Awesome. That's where it's cool that your school taught that. I mean, like the high school I went to still to this day has a full ag shop, and that's where with TIG and stick and MIG welding and machine lathes and mills and this kind of stuff. So they teach the kids how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So many, schools don't teach that kind of stuff much anymore. That's for those hands-on, how to actually create something real, not just a theoretical. It's really a skill that's being lost in society now, especially with the young people.
Yeah, my Camaro, when I had it, the '69. You may have heard this before, but it was the school that did all the work on it. They did all the work on it for free because I was a student, and they had some serious work to get done on that, because basically I bought the engine and got the frame for free because the body was all rusted out. They did all the body work, engine work on that thing. They did the engine boring and they did all of that at the school. I didn't pay a penny to have any of that work done.
That's cool, because that's teaching those kids a trade, really, is what that does, and then they can then take those skills and either make a living out of it or at least have a base understanding, and then so when they get out they can go do something with it.
Yeah, all I did, I bought parts, but as far as the work, I didn't pay a penny for any of the work that was done on.
What kind of engine did it have in it? What displacement? Do you remember?
It was a 396 that was bored out to 4 something. I don't remember what exactly.
Very nice, very nice. I know, our high school, that's where the auto shop did some of that, and I mean, the freshman class would build, they would take a basic Chevy 350, assemble the bottom end, assemble the top end, and throw a 4-barrel carburetor on it and make them run, and that was what they started with. Learned how to do tune-ups and this kind of thing. Our more advanced, our seniors, actually did all the maintenance on the local PED cars, as well as they built some pretty hot stuff coming out of there some years.
Yeah. Well, the teachers, they would take their cars to the student shop because they got a discount, and those kids did a hell of a job on it. They did really good work. And the teacher, the guy that oversaw that class, is also the one that ran the go-kart club.
That's cool. Yeah. That would have been the kind of class I would have had fun in high school. I didn't do the machining class or the auto class in high school. I probably should have. That would have been fun. No, I focused on the woodworking because I got enough of the automotive stuff at home. Working on and helping my dad work on his old work truck, working on friends' tractors and whatever else. But that's awesome that they did that.
Yeah, well, my high school wasn't the only one. My high school, we had a 2-bay garage for them to work on cars in. Southfield Tech had, it was like going to Walmart's service center. You could get 10 cars in there being worked on in Southfield Tech High School. But that's what they were. They were a vocational high school. It was like going to a technical school at the same time you were going to high school at that school. They did all kinds of stuff. They did electronics, baking, and baking. They did culinary arts there. I'm trying to remember what all they had, but they had a bunch of stuff at Southfield Tech. That's what it was. You would do, like, when my brother went there, right? He went there. He was taking a small intern course. They would do their standard academics in the morning. Then the afternoon was all vocational stuff.
And this was a public high school?
Yeah.
Sweet. Like I said, that's right. I really wish that was pushed more because being down here in Sacramento now, I know so much of the schools here, all the way through the high school level, they're taught right from freaking kindergarten to look down their noses at people that work with their hands and, well, you need to do X, Y, and Z, college education, work with your brain. If you work with your hands, you're low level, yada, yada, yada. It's like, no, we still need those skills in society. I don't care how many Googles or whatever are created. We still need the people who can physically do, not just think.
Yeah. At my high school and at Southfield Tech, both of them had the nursing program. So you could graduate, I believe it was with your LPN degree, and then you could go on to college, and you would only have to do like 1 year to get your registered nurse's degree.
That's awesome.
And we also, in my high school, we had a paralegal course where you graduate with your associate's degree in law. So you would be you could work as a paralegal or then go on to law school. And I'm trying to remember, culinary arts. Both high schools had the culinary arts program. Southfield Tech and where I went to high school both had the culinary arts program. Where you would graduate
and that's where.
Degree in
Whereabouts was this at? Because I know you're in. Last I heard, you're in West Virginia now, but that's not where you're originally from, right?
Yeah. No, I'm from Pittsburgh originally.
That's right.
Yeah, I went to high school in Pittsburgh, and every high school had some form of degree program that you could graduate with a degree as well as your high school diploma if you were in those programs. So you had to apply to get into those programs. It wasn't just like they weren't allowing just anybody in.
Well, that's true. They didn't want people coming in, filling slots, and then not doing anything with it. They wanted people that actually cared and wanted to try, which is smart, to be honest.
Yeah. I did the military one. I was in junior ROTC.
No, I think I remember you saying something about the ROTC before.
Yeah. And I remember the one school you would it was Perry at the time, which now has the junior ROTC program because my high school closed. They closed my high school down, so it's not operational anymore. They use it as office buildings now, as an office building now. But Perry had a math and science program where you would get an associate's degree in a particular field of science. I forget what ones they had. They had like chemistry, physics, and something else where you would get an associate's degree in those, or you could get your associate's degree in mathematics. And then it would cut how long, basically those courses would cut down on how long you would have to go to college to get your like masters and stuff. Essentially, what was the purpose of those? At Chenley High School, they had electronics, like electrical engineering, where you would get your associates in electrical engineering or in a foreign language. They had like 10 different foreign languages they taught at that school on the college level. So
That's awesome.
But again, I believe every one of the high schools in the city had some degree program that you could do at the same time, at least one. Some of them, like my high school, had more than one. And of course, Alpha Tech, they had it every time. If you could think of something you would go to a vocational school for, they probably had it.
Nice. So it sounds like a pretty good sized operation then if they had all that.
Yeah, this was all within the public school system.
That's good to hear. I like hearing the school. The communities that really invest in their in their future like that. That's good.
Yeah. It was rather interesting the way they did that. At least I thought it was. And like the school district, if you were going to like Southfield Tech, because the way they were set up, they waived your physical education requirements and everything, where you only had to do the academic requirements to graduate. You didn't have to have your gym class and all that because you were doing something else besides that. You know what I mean?
Right. You didn't have to go learn how to play, racquetball and volleyball and this kind of stuff because you were getting your hands on through these other stuff. So they decided that that education was just as good or maybe better than the general PE, basically.
Yeah, and some of those some of those classes, you had to be in pretty decent physical condition to be able to do the job anyway.
Right.
So, Ethan, you still there? You've been quiet.
Yeah, our Baltimore boy has been real quiet. Are you are you turning anti on us there, Kingpin, or are you still with us on on the good side? Oh, not even that can rile him into saying something. Dang.
Are you guys still talking about guns and stuff?
We're talking about a little bit of everything because we're just picking topics. Because it's we're not even having topics at this point. Really, we're just chatting.
Yeah.
If you have something to contribute, that's for usually pretty good at throwing questions out there.
Yeah, basically, we were just talking about how the high schools worked when I was in school in Pittsburgh, about how that each of them had some kind of vocational courses that you could take.
Oh yeah, the Pennsylvania and Maryland school systems are relatively the same. We're close to the same age.
Yeah, you're just a couple years younger than I am.
Yeah, that's true. It looks like Stacy had to bow out. Apparently, she had some things that she had to get done before bed, and that's her. And tomorrow, she's got to be up early to get some other stuff done.
Yeah, I saw that.
Say lovey.
They went to Kansas City rally yesterday, or maybe it was today. I don't remember.
Well, it was this weekend. That's as far as I know. That's true. I saw the pictures with Gary.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Gary was they were talking about it on Friday night that they were going to be going.
That's right. Yeah, because Gary had to work today, so that definitely means it was yesterday.
They the Snobs had a lot of windshield time behind them this weekend.
Yep.
Roughly, if you had to guess, what do you think the drive time from? I mean, they live outside of Tulsa, but just call it Tulsa to Kansas City. That's probably had to be what 5 hours one way.
Yeah, it's a few hours, that's for sure.
Then again, when you start getting out to that part of the country, a short drive is probably an hour and a half.
Yeah, when you get out that part of the country, the roads are pretty much flat, too.
259 miles. Yeah, 269.5 miles, 3 hours and 58 minutes. And
Oh.
that's just Tulsa to Kansas City, so who knows if you got to go from the back of Tulsa
Yeah.
to the back of Kansas City. That could be another.
The rally was at their capital. It wasn't in Kansas City. The rally was in Topeka.
Calaveras just said Kansas City, so that's the one I looked up.
Oh, that's for my geography isn't as good as it should be. I should know that Topeka is the capital of Kansas, but I wasn't thinking.
Yeah, Kansas City would actually have been closer for them. That's right. Kansas City's right on the Missouri-Kansas border, and they go to Missouri all the time. Missouri's not that long for them to travel.
Right. Speaking of travel, anyone going to be there in Tulsa in November?
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna. I don't have the money for that.
Oh well. Now there'll be some live streams coming out of there. I'm sure you can watch.
Yeah, I was supposed to go in April, but then something came up, and then we weren't able to. And then found out what came up that was keeping us from going wasn't going to keep us from going, but then it was too late.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually need to get on a chat with one of those guys at some point and figure out what the heck the plans are for November, so that way I can get my hotel booked. Because I've already got part of that trip planned and booked. I need to get the last piece of it in place.
Yeah, and we were talking about maybe going in April next year, but then we started thinking about it. Might instead just do the NRA show instead.
And isn't the NRA show going to be closer to you this year?
Yeah, it's going to be in Nashville.
Yeah, that's right. I'm probably not going to make that one, but this, Tulsa in November is going to be my big trip for this year, probably next year, and maybe the year after.
Yeah. The fun part is
it's only about 26 hours one way.
Yeah, the fun part about the NRA show, it's going to be during the height of the NHL playoffs, and if the Nashville Predators make the playoffs, their arena is right across the street from where the NRA show is going to be.
Oh, that's going to be an absolute madhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Now, from what I understand, those NRA conventions are no carry most of the time, anyhow. So it's
well, no, you could carry it the Indianapolis this year.
Oh, could you? All right. Well, maybe it's that might really be interesting if it's if the NHL is going on at the same time.
Yeah, I mean because it's going to be on the weekend. Weekend you get like on Sunday you get daytime games even in the playoffs. It's gonna be fun for parking and whatnot, and those crowds go nuts. I don't know if you saw the Stanley Cup a couple years ago when the Penguins were playing the Predators in the Stanley Cup.
I did not.
Oh man, that was those streets were crazy. It was all every street around that arena was a giant block party.
Well, might as well throw one giant party on top of another one, right? I mean, at that point.
Yeah, and they said it was like that throughout the entire playoffs. The whole time that Nashville was in the playoffs that year, they said it was like that. They had country music people out there playing on the streets and whatnot, on top of like Winnebagos and shit.
Awesome.
It was crazy. Well, you know that in the stadium the arena that Allstate Arena that the Predators play in Nashville, they actually have a stage built into above where the Zambonis come out to clean the ice, and they'll have different people play. Like the one game when the Pens were playing them, they had Tommy Shaw playing there in the arena during the intermission.
There you go. That's a good combo.
Yeah, he was playing a bunch of like the old damn Yankee songs and stuff.
That's fun. You really want to kick up a hornet's nest. Have some band play some like old David Allan Cole or something during intermission. That would really get some Yeah, that gets some attention.
Yeah, they get country singers and stuff, but I remember the one game they had Tommy when the Pens were playing them in the Cup final. They had Tommy Shaw playing. He played like Renegade from Styx and a couple of the damn Yankee songs and stuff, which was pretty cool because they actually showed it during intermission. They showed him playing his set. It was kind of cool. And he would play like one or two songs each intermission. There's 2 intermissions. Let's goes to overtime. Then there's an intermission between each overtime period and playoffs. So,
right.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, hockey is one of those sports that hasn't gone full PC yet. That's for they still get rough and tumble at times.
Oh yeah, and you don't have them kneeling for the national anthems either.
No, that's for regardless of what country happens to be playing at the time, because that's for the American. Some of the American teams play some of the Canadian teams, and they both respect wherever they happen to be playing at the time.
Yeah, and the players are international. I mean, you got players from all over the world, or at least the United States, North America, and Europe. There's actually been players from South Korea that have been in the league before.
I didn't know that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, the Penguins at 2 different times in the 90s and the 2000s had South Korean players on the team.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty much the only hockey I watched last year was playoffs. It was the Sharks and Avalanche. I had some fun with Sandhills on that one because he's a major Avalanche fan.
the Quebec Nordiques. At least they used to be anyway.
What time did you fire this up, Rich?
Oh, around 8:30.
Okay, so you've only been going now
about an hour,
half hour?
Minutes.
15 minutes? Okay. I don't know how long you normally try to run these shows.
We usually run until Midnight Rain sends his links out.
Got it.
Especially now that Gun Gals isn't a thing anymore. Yeah, we're not encroaching on anybody.
Okay. That's for whatever happened to the Gun Gals show? They just stopped doing it?
Pretty much. According to what Stacy was saying, if I remember right, she said that they didn't even talk to her about it. They just we're not going to do this right now. So that was pretty much it.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know how big of a crowd they really attracted every week. I tried to catch it when I could, but there was plenty of times I wasn't able to catch their show.
Yeah. I just left some. Let me see if anybody's over there on Gun Channel because I haven't been paying attention. Nope, I'm the only one sitting there. Okay.
Well, this is also Gun Rights Policy Weekend. There's some of the people that maybe that have normally been watching or doing something that are on the road right now too, because there was a number of the big dogs that went to that.
Yeah. Yeah, Bloke's out there. Hey, Bloke, you have a link in your email, man, if you want to jump in.
Yeah, come on, Bloke. We need some topics. Jump in here and kick the hornet's nest for us. I don't even know what to talk about at this point.
Well, Bloke jumps in. He can give us an update on how the fundraiser's going for Angelina. You know about that, right? The little girl that he's doing the fundraiser for.
Yeah, that's for last I heard. She was slowly recovering, and she was off the ventilator, this kind of stuff. But still was in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. She's probably going to be in the hospital for a little while. I mean, with what she's got going on, which sucks. And he says he just started a paper. Come on, you can take a 5-minute break and let us know how things are going with your giveaway fundraiser.
Yeah, because what last I heard, he'd had a number of people, contribute towards it, which is great. That's for what the giveaway was: a suppressor, and they're going to be covering the tax stamp for it. The a ballistic vest and a carrying case for the ballistic vest. That's awesome. That's pretty significant price pack.
Yeah. One of David's friends, Deborah, I can't remember her last name, is the one that donated the vest. She was asking us how to get a hold of Bloke on one of his videos, and she got a hold of him and got that to him. So that's really cool of her to contribute that to help out the cause.
Oh yeah, and that's for I know someone here not too long ago made a comment about that's for our communities. If you listen to the mainstream, we're a bunch of nasty, less than desirables. But then you see, if you actually look at it, that's for how many just within our gun channels community have stepped up to help out others that are in need.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it happened. How many times Scotsman's done basically what Bloke's doing now? If Scotsman doesn't have a fundraiser going, I'm shocked. He's constantly got one going for somebody.
Right.
Scotsman gave away his own personal Smith & Wesson Model 19, and it wasn't one of the new ones. It was one of the old ones without the Hillary hole and everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was beautiful. That revolver was in beautiful condition too.
Oh, I'm sure. That's for. I've never, from everything I've ever seen of Scotsman's, that's for everything is always in excellent condition.
Yeah, that thing was immaculate. The bluing on that thing was beautiful. Yeah, Bloke says give him a couple minutes.
Cool.
Well, some alarm works.
That's for. I didn't catch much of the. You're saying you've been pretty out of it the last couple of weeks too, but that's for. I haven't caught much of the news the last few days, so I don't know what all is going on in the world. But
apparently, there was a shooting at a bar in South Carolina or something the other day. And they had, the last I saw, I mean, I didn't really read any of the articles or anything, but the one headline I saw, they still hadn't caught the guy.
That's not good. Someone else just jumped in.
Yeah, Bloke's joined us.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Bloke.
Sorry. I had my little studio kind of set up for something else, so I didn't have my microphone attached or anything. Excuse me for having technical difficulties here.
No worries.
Yeah, I just received a review package that I'm going to be doing here shortly from Art of Metal from Wisconsin. I don't know if you guys ever heard that.
Not familiar, but that's for be interesting to see your review when it's done.
Yeah, it's give me a second here. Let me I just received the package today, so I didn't do any background on it, but it's called Metal Art of Wisconsin, and they are certified, can I say this, badass American metal made home for freedom cabinets. And it's pretty interesting. I made one very similar to it, but this one's on a much smaller scale. I use a foam to get in on mine, and then this one is biometric. So you put your finger up to the little circular contraption, and then the mechanism opens and the door slides, and then you can assess or access your firearm. Pretty interesting. It's got filament and everything, and I tell you what, I could probably show it, but excuse the mess. I really apologize. You want to see it?
I'd love to see it, and don't apologize for the mess. That's for if I was in my gun room right now, you'd see it looks like Hiroshima. So,
all right, here we go. What happened here? I don't know what's going on. Oh, you know what? There we go. All right, so here it is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then what
That's
you do is you put your little finger on this thing here.
and back it up a little bit. We can't see the whole thing.
Can you see it?
I can see the stars of the flag with the metal track coming off the one side of it. That's about all I can see.
This is all foam. This is where you put your gun.
Okay. So it looks like it's probably, one, maybe two pistol size.
Yeah, it's about, I want to say, about 2 feet long. And then there's the biometric, so you can program up to like fingers.
Yeah.
There you go. When it turns green, then it opens. And then there's the phone.
You might be able to get an AR pistol in there. You like angle it, or with one of the ones with the SBA3 or the A4, which are the collapsible ones.
Yeah, definitely. It's about a good, I want to say, about maybe 2.5 inches wide. So I mean, you can fit pretty much. I think you can fit the AR pistol in there. But I haven't done any foam cutting yet on this particular thing. But I do have a foam cutter. I just haven't done anything yet. Like I said, I just received it. That's
cool. That's real cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I got some pretty interesting reviews coming up soon. Let's see what else. I have CGS Group, the Siren. It's a 22 can coming up. I received those already. And then it was funny. I was on a live thing on Instagram because only 20, I think like 23 or 24 people entered into this giveaway with the suppressor. So the chances are pretty high. But ironically, CGS was on there when I was doing the live, and somebody asked if I could do the review on their Hyperon, I think it's called, which is for, your long-range rifles. I think up to 300 Win Mag. But he said he's sending that too. So I said, okay.
Yeah, if I had people like, hey, do you want a review on this? Sure.
Yeah, I've been very blessed in that area where I've been lucky because honestly, you guys deserve it more than I do because I haven't been doing this for long,
yeah, I've been doing it just about 1.5 years now, so I haven't been doing it real long either.
Yeah, so it's been about, I want to say 8 months, I think. Yeah, about 8 months. Like I said, I've been really blessed because I had the biggest trouble trying to get the editing and all that stuff going. And I joined a platform called 430. And a couple guys from there really, really helped me out with lighting and editing because, as a therapist, we don't do filming. So, my type of filming is I just turn on the lights, every light I can, put more lights and turn them on and hit the button. And my first couple videos were absolutely terrible. And then you start doing research on how to edit and contrast and lighting, and I should do a video on that. I know Clover was doing a lot, and that's actually, in fact, that's where I really got blessed. Is I got in contact with Clover, Chris, and he really set me up because he sent me to Gizzard Gary on his panels, and then it kind of just went from there, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, this endeavor was first off and most foremost was to raise awareness for children with disabilities. I never thought that I would do reviews on suppressors or full autos, and but it seems like it's going quite well. I'm very happy with the results so far.
Yeah, that's for speaking of kids. That's for how's your buddy's daughter doing?
Okay, so I did speak to him a couple days ago, and she is out of the hospital. She's in it's actually a larger rehab hospital. This rehab hospital is huge. When I say huge, there's I think 120 beds in that rehab hospital, and it's specifically designed for those very traumatic cases. So, high-level spinal cord injuries, rare conditions, just like Angelina does. So the problem that people or she is having is transverse myelitis. So the comparison, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Guillain-Barré syndrome or MS.
Mm-hmm.
You guys,
Heard of MS?
Yeah, so multiple sclerosis. Basically, what it does. Let me elaborate. Let me see if I can find something I can elaborate with. Okay. Now, bear with me. This is not the greatest example, but you'll understand.
No worries, bud. Anything to help us wrap our head around it.
Sure. All right. So this is my hot glue gun. So
That
like
works.
I said, let's say this is your brain. This is your spinal cord that goes all the way down to your tailbone, right?
Right.
Around this, there is a coating, and that is called the myelin sheath. Inside that is your cerebral fluid and stuff like that. Well, if I was to take this coating off, the wire would be exposed, right?
Right.
So that's exactly what happened. Now, if you know anything about electricity, electricity physics 101, electricity moves through the least resistance. The reason why they put a coating on here, not only to protect you, but it also allows the electricity run down much faster. If I was to take down the coating here, 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 and here, it would go here, stop, and then be a fuzzy waves. And then there will be no movement in this area. Well, Guillain-Barré, that's exactly what happens within a matter of hours. Transverse myelitis, the difference there is her own body attacked that myelin sheath and removed it. So that's why she became paralyzed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That does.
Yeah.
That's
Do
what,
they have?
get it?
Do they have any idea what causes that?
I wish. It's really hard to say. Like, I mean, for instance, Guillain-Barré syndrome, there is no exact cause. Generally, Guillain-Barré syndrome, you either retract it from, say, after a surgery, the flu shot, or getting sick. Transverse myelitis, they have absolutely no idea how it happens at all. It just the body somehow detects some kind of mortality or some kind of difference in your body, and then sends out all those fighting T cells and everything and attacks it. So that's what happened. Initially, we thought it was viral or bacterial, like meningitis, but it's not. It took about 2 weeks to die.
If I remember, you're saying it came on very rapidly after, they went swimming or something like that. So they thought it may have been something to do with the environment. But it sounds like at this point, no, it wasn't.
No. Well, that diagnosis took about 2 weeks, and some of the testing is pretty intensive. So, first off, they do MRIs, they do blood works to check the bacterial. Then they do spinal taps, where they puncture your spine to take a sample. And generally, if it's Guillain-Barré, that's how you tell if it's that from that cerebral fluid in your spine. But it didn't show up there, so then they had to diagnose it as, it's a process of elimination, transverse myelitis. So she's 12 years old. She went from doing karate, swimming in the lake. In matter of 3 hours, she became completely and utterly paralyzed from the neck down. Anything above a C5, like a C4, you need ventilation. So she became a C4. She needed ventilation, so she had to be intubated, and a tube had to be stuck down her throat in order to survive. Otherwise, her lungs would not have the electricity sent to them to move. Fortunately, she did gain some function back in the spinal cord there. So generally, the myelin sheath, when it regenerates, it generates about 1 millimeter a day. So, I mean, if you say that you have like this much gone off that piece of wire in your back, then you're talking over a year to regain function. The problem with transverse myelitis is there's no probability of how much you're going to get back. Generally, with Guillain-Barré syndrome, if you don't go on a vent, you have a very good chance of recovering 100%, and it just takes a little bit longer. Transverse myelitis, there is no prognosis of how much she's going to get from it. So right now, she can sit, but somebody has to support her. She can move her arms like this, but she cannot do this yet. She can do this. So it's gross motor. She can move. They did take the vent out, and she is eating slowly. But if you were to look at someone, say like a cerebral palsy or a version of cerebral palsy where they move very gross motor, that's how she's moving right now. It's a long process, and the amount of therapy required for it is extensive, because not moving all those tiny muscles, then you get atrophy. And what happens with atrophy, the ligaments and the tendons, they also shorten. Then you end up getting contractures. And sometimes those are very, very hard to take into consideration to open back up. There's a couple ways. One is surgery, which is the last thing we want. And then the second thing is most commonly used are splints or orthoses. So to open them up and so the muscles don't shrink. So that's what they're running into right now. Just to give an idea of how much it costs to stay in an ICU, it's about $35,000 a day. Yeah, it's pretty intense. For rehab of that significance, you're looking probably about another $30,000 for the entire stay. Usually 3 to 4 weeks, and then it doubles every time after that, something like that. So unfortunately, her father works per dime, so he works as needed, so he doesn't have medical insurance. So they're getting bombarded with medical bills.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Thank God nowadays they can't refuse your, they can't refuse you, which is good, but it's still extensive and they still need our help. Like I said, there's only been like 24 people that entered into this. So generally, and I'm sorry for taking all the time. When I chit-chat,
So go for it. This is good info.
This is why I was. Then why I asked you to jump in. To give us a heads up on how things are going.
My apologies. So the entry, I contacted CGS, and Bobby West, the owner, for some reason had open ears, man, open arms. And I said, I'm trying to do a giveaway for this. And he says, well, good, I'll send you a suppressor. I said, all right. I said, but it's kind of hard to give a used suppressor. He goes, all right, I'll send you 2. He goes, keep one for future usage if you need to do like a 6-month review on it, So the new one, the one that's not been used, is the one going into the giveaway. So the way I set it up, it's not a raffle. We're not allowed to say raffle. It's not a raffle. It's a giveaway. But how to enter it is that you go to the my YouTube channel, and you hit the description, and there's a GoFundMe link. It doesn't go to me. It's not my GoFundMe. It's Frank's and his daughter's. And then you submit $20 per entry, and you can submit as $20 entry as many times as you want. And every $20 is 1 entry into the giveaway. So when I aired it, I'm going to let the person, if they want to say that they're going to be paying for it. Somebody offered to pay for the tax stamp. That's all I'm going to say. This person is probably one of the most generous people I've ever met, and down to earth too. So they agreed to pay for the tax stamp, and then somebody that knew that somebody contacted me and offered to donate a Class 3 bulletproof vest, and it's from Scar Armory. Now there is, I wouldn't say it's an issue. The vest is extra small. So I put it on. It's kind of tight, but for $20, I mean, you can turn around and sell that thing, and put it towards a new one. And I think they go for about, retail is about $4.99, but you can get them on sale for like $3 something. So if you turn around and sell that for $200, then you can put that money towards a new one if you want it, or give it to somebody, or just do it just because of the cause. But if you don't want to participate, you're also able to donate to the cause. Just send me an email. That way I can say thank you. So $1 helps, man. Every penny counts. So that's the update on it. I don't have too much. And I'm sorry I was a little bit unprepared. But
hey, don't apologize to us, man. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, I just threw the link to the video out there on the YouTube side, so anybody hasn't checked it out yet, go over it. Make sure you go over there and check that out. It's a very good cause.
Yeah. I mean, potentially for $20, you can almost get about $1,500 worth of stuff. The tax stamp, the suppressor, which is roughly about $900, and then the vest. So I'm very thankful for the people that have contributed to this course. Many appreciation. And it does end October 2nd. So I will do the live drawing on YouTube live on October 2nd, and I'm going to set it for like 8:30, so everybody's home and fed.
8:30 Eastern?
Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
the only time zone that matters.
Kingpin.
Well, I just wanted to, in case anyone that this was their first time hearing, I just wanted to make sure that part was out there.
Sure, I appreciate that. And yep, it'll be 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then what will happen? The person, I'll reach out to them via email, and once they give me their contact information, they'll also need to give me their. This is really important because I can't send the suppressor otherwise. The suppressor has to be sent to an FFL SOT. Can't be just an FFL. So they have to have a Class 3, basically, which is an ATF license, basically. And then the good news is with that, if you know your FFL SOT, let's say, for instance, it's like your local range, they have to hold on to that until you get your tax stamp. Now, that takes anywhere from 6 months to a year, depending. But if you know them, they can let you use it while you're at the range in their presence, while you're waiting for your approval, which is pretty cool. So that's all I got.
Appreciate it, bloke. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to turn this thing back off now because, as you can see my children's pictures up there. You can see my lighting everywhere.
Have you seen when I've had my camera on?
Rich, right? You're a handsome man.
That's not talking about that. I'm talking about the mess beside me.
Anyway, enough about this. How you doing, Rich?
Better than what I was.
Yeah, man, you were down for a count.
Yeah, they really were kicking my ass for a while.
Wow. So this one is through GunTube, huh?
Yep, running it through the GunTube chamber.
Oh, cool. Was it hard?
No, it's not that hard. Night Strike has a pretty decent tutorial video on how to get that up and running and everything. So anybody wants to do that, they can watch that video, and he shows you exactly how to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to try one on Wednesday. I did schedule it just to give everybody a heads up, and I'll go over this whole thing again because we are running out of time. It's 22nd right now, so we shall see.
Yeah. Did you catch any of the show at the beginning by any chance, or were you just jumping in now?
Did I? No, I didn't catch anything.
Okay, so you didn't see the latest on the Mossberg project done?
The what now?
My Mossberg project done? You didn't see you haven't seen the newest addition to it yet, then?
No, let's see it.
All right, let me turn my camera on here. Remember, I had ordered a pistol grip for it.
Oh,
got it in.
Nice! I love it.
All right, gentlemen. I gotta hit the hay. I gotta get up super early tomorrow. So, Rich, Cal, Bloke, everybody have a good night. And tell Pancakes I said hello.
Okay.
Later, Kingsman.
I can. That's beautiful. I love the woodwork.
Yeah, and if you look, there's no hole in the bottom there for the grip screw. It actually uses a little titanium bolt that's like that long. You take off the grip panels and you feed it up through the side. You stick it up in there and feed it up through it, and then use your fingers, and then you got to stick a little wrench in there to get it tightened up. So it all looks solid when it's on, and it's super smooth. I mean, that wood is finely sanded, and then the indentation that they did is really nice and smooth.
I got something to show. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. So this is now kind of like my own birthday. Make sure it's unloaded. Yeah, it is. So I just bought this not too long ago.
That's for.
Yeah. That's the P07?
That is the FNX 40.
FNX 45.
Double stacked. Single double. And suppressor ready.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this thing is unreal because it holds 15 45s.
Yeah. Yeah, those FNX 45s are nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then, I don't know if you can see that. Do you guys have Rural King?
No, not in California, I don't.
Oh, man. So they had a sale going on. I don't know if you can see it. That was $3.99.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I just put the lights in. So the motion sensor, when you open it, and then they come on. But that was $3.99.
Is that a digital or a mechanical lock?
Unfortunately, it is a digital one. So I know the mechanical ones are the best route. But not bad for $3.99.
No, good for $3.99. That's for, and as for which one's better, digital or mechanical, that's really a personal preference. I like mechanicals, but I know a lot of people that swear by digital. So
yeah, I chit chatted to a guy on 430, and he's a locksmith, and he says, unfortunately, the problem with digital is they tend to break. Where mechanical, they're less likely to break. I don't know how true that is, but he's a locksmith and I'm not.
yeah, that's true. I wouldn't exactly argue with the locksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had some good deals on Tractor Supply around here lately on their safes. They had some nice. They had one that also looked almost like a bank vault. The old school, like West, that you would see in the westerns. Their little miniature bank vaults that they used to have in the movies, like the TV.
Oh wow!
And they only wanted about $300 for that one. It was really nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's for my safe is a Liberty Centurion 10. It's mechanical. That's for I like. I like the. I've got a buddy that has a digital something he picked up used off of somebody. I know that's hasn't had any issues with it. But that's right. I've just never been one to trust batteries and that kind of thing. So I went with the mechanical just for simplicity's sake. But
well, the good thing about this thing, it has a key, like a really long key, that if it does have an issue, you can take off the top and fit the key in there, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. That gives you a nice backup feature.
Yeah, a little safe kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can't go wrong with Liberty. Liberty's been around forever.
Yeah, I got lucky they were running a sale almost 2 years ago now. And that's where I was like, all right, well, if I had to order this thing, shipment's going to be a ton. What's the, what kind of shipping can I do? I looked. Oh, it's free within 20 miles. Well, great. 20 miles isn't very much. I got lucky. There was a Liberty dealer like 15 miles from me. Like, bingo.
Oh, wow. Actually, they did have, what was it? It wasn't a Liberty. It was, I forget. But it was this one's a 44 size, but they had an 84 for the same, for $100 more. The problem is they didn't have it in stock. So I said, well, what if I just pay for it? He goes, well, it could be 2 years before we get it in.
Youch.
Yeah, I said, I'll just take this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I went with my 10 because, with where I can put it, I don't have, even if I could have come up with the extra cash, I don't physically have enough space for the bigger one, so I'll go with the one I can fit in the house.
Mm.
Kidding. Yeah, that's what I ran into too. Honestly, I don't think I could have probably fit the 84 rifles safe in my studio.
Yeah, that's true. Most of the people I know that have the really big ones, they have them in their garage because that's the only place you can physically get them into. So you have to sacrifice a portion of your garage space so you can bolt them down.
Mm.
So I have a question.
Shoot.
So I was thinking about buying a humidifier, but I was thinking, well, I don't need one because it's inside and the air conditioner is already a dehumidifier. I thought maybe it's just because if it was out in the garage, then that's when I would need a dehumidifier, right?
Yeah, I would definitely put it in the garage. I would definitely get a dehumidifier, especially living in Florida. I mean, it gets humid as hell down there.
That's where I need to get one for mine, even though here where I'm at, it's relatively dry and it's inside. But that's where I'm a rather be safe than sorry type. So, I mean, only thing, I have one, firearm. Sorry, scratch that. 2 firearms that have nice wood stocks. So as for too dry on those, maybe it could cause an issue. But everything else is, is a synthetic, so it's for too dry isn't an issue. But that's for I'd rather pull as much moisture out of the air as I can to keep it from rusting. Then again, that's personal preference. I don't know really if you need it. I'm not an expert on that, so I can't really answer that one.
Well, I mean, the air conditioner is already a dehumidifier, and I think we keep it at like 77 in here, or 76, one of the two. But it should be drawing out as much moisture as it. Actually, what I need to do is just get one of those inside humidifier, or those what's it called? The check the humidity.
Yeah, that's for some kind of meter or something to check it. Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. But, actually, the light system I installed in there, I purchased the kit from Amazon. It was a Liberty kit, and the install was pretty daggone easy. So I'm extremely happy because it didn't have any electric in there, so it was kind of dark.
Yeah, mine doesn't have any lights in it either, and yeah, it can be pretty dark inside those things sometimes.
Yeah, check out. I think your Liberty already has the pre-cut hole in it, though, doesn't it? In the back. Probably.
I'd have to double check.
Yeah, so all you need is the kit from Liberty. It's $40, I think, and a 3.5-inch hole saw. That's all you need, and then you just pop out the little plastic piece in the back of your Liberty, and you put a 1/4-inch drill bit on there, and you poke a hole through it. It's already got the hole in it, but you need to put it through the drywall, and then you find that same hole. And in the kit, there's like a guiding rod that you take out of the drill part in your hole saw, and you put it through on the inside and just drill it out with the hole saw, and that's it. And then you put the pieces together.
Yeah, if I'm having to drill through, that's right. I'm in a rental house, so I can't be drilling into the drywall, so I might have to wait on that.
No, I meant the drywall inside your
okay, inside the safe. Got it.
Yeah, we're talking about the insulation in the safe. So.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Got it.
Yeah, it's really easy. There's a YouTube video on how to do it, and it was $40 for the kit, and I think I paid like $20 for the 3.5-inch hole saw. I didn't have a 3.5-inch. I had a 2.5-inch, but no 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5 is a pretty good size hole saw. Most people don't have those laying around.
Yeah. So all in all, it took me, because I had to cut the external hole. It took me about an hour, but since you already have the external hole there, it should take you like 25 minutes. Pretty easy.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. As for the lights, would be nice to make it easier to see what the heck I'm getting out or putting in, and then throwing some sort of dehumidifying system in there would be good too, just to make myself feel better, if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, the light makes a huge difference. I think I bought the lights for the LEDs. I think I can tell you exactly when it's got those from Amazon too. Here it is.
Yeah, honestly, probably one of the big reasons why I got the Liberty when I got it, one, it was running a good sale, but also a buddy of mine had a safe with a mechanical dial. Sorry, it was some. God knows where he got it. He bought it brand new, from I understand. It, even though he opened it probably once a week, so he was familiar with it. The dial had so much slop in it. It would take him about 6 or 7 tries to finally get it open, so he could open the safe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean that's where even when you put the correct code in, sometimes it wouldn't work because it had so much slop in the mechanism.
Wow.
Wow.
That's definitely not a good thing.
No. That's where, to me, is like, okay, I get that your home defense one isn't kept in there, but you still need to have access when necessary. So I want one that actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have one. I built. I don't know if I got a picture of it. I built one. It's kind of like the one I showed you just recently, the one they sent me,
Right.
but it's much, much bigger. It holds. Let me say this. It can hold up to an AR-15, a shotgun, and a 45.
That works. With those 3 pieces, if you can't deal with your whatever problem is presenting itself with those 3, you've got bigger issues.
Yeah, no kidding. I thought I had a picture of it somewhere. Let's see here. Oh, I do. Here we go. I'll show you. So I built this from scratch.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if I can get. Oh, I just liked myself. Right there, is that little dot right there. That's a key fob. So you just go up to it with a key fob, and it goes, and then the motion lights come on.
Sweet.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw on, I think it was a Facebook post that someone was talking about that they had recently picked up a used soda dispenser or something that they put in their garage, and they were actually converting it into a biometric lock safe, for use for storage of items, which I thought was also a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. This company actually has some really cool other items that they make. They make this shelf that you slide like a fob over the middle of it, and the bottom part comes down, and then your go-tos in there. Let's see if I can. Pretty neat.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind, but still available when needed.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Real quick, we've been joined by the Obnoxious One and Gizzard Gary out there on the YouTube chats.
Hello.
Both of whom have links if they want to jump in or are able to jump in.
I'm surprised Gary is on. That's from what he was saying, in his Friday night one, that he didn't know if he'd even be available in time to jump into midnight.
Yeah, well, he was saying he was going to get off around 9 o'clock his time, which would be about 10 o'clock. So, yeah, about the time he would be getting home or stuff.
See, this is the other one they have. And then it opens up at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, that's for and you just got a Facebook message. But that's for similar to the tactical walls or something that makes they make the hideaway shelves, small one for sidearms, large one for long arms, and as well as they make tables and all kinds of other stuff as well. Similar ideas.
Yeah, they make all kinds of stuff. they were. I think they were skinning. They were talking about doing maybe like a chalkboard or something, or like if schools would want to use them or something. So that'll be
Yeah.
then that'll be right up. If schools were to do that, that'll be right up their alley. Like,
Well, yeah, that's where you have the whiteboard, because that's where most of them don't use chalkboards anymore. But that's where that means it's easy access to whatever staff member is got the biometric setup or has the FID, but as well as it keeps those who shouldn't have access out of it as well. So that's rather than just having it in a desk drawer, which that's good.
Right. Well, they actually have ones that are desk drawers where you can have it with the lock on them.
Yeah.
I've seen those too. Where that's something that they have like for businesses and stuff, where they have they have a replacement desk where you send them the dimensions of your desk drawer, and what wood style or what have you, and they can recreate that for you.
Yeah, that would work. I mean, I think that's really what would be the big key for the schools. That's where they would have to, whoever is authorized would need to have quick access, but still have the ability to keep it out of the hands of those who shouldn't.
Yeah. And I have children here, so everything has to be really secured.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I don't have that issue yet, so my nighttime go-to is just in the, on my nightstand. When I start having kids in the house, then I'll have to start worrying about that more.
Yeah, you don't have that problem yet, and I don't have that problem anymore. So,
right.
Yeah, and they're mischievous. They can get into anything. So.
Oh yeah, that's for this is a child proof. Yeah, right. Really, it's adult proof, and the kids can get into it in 5 seconds. It's usually how it works.
Yeah, cats are just as bad. My wife walked out in the kitchen the other day, and the kitten poked his head up out of the garbage can.
Oh wow!
We have one of those garbage cans that has the lid that like flips up, and he got himself down in there.
He's the thing is, he's the second cat we had that threw himself away. Unless you're planning. We had another cat beforehand.
Yeah, hand him here.
In the old place that also proceeded to jump into the trash can.
Yeah.
So this is the second cat you've had throw himself away. That's hilarious.
Back out.
I didn't get to see him earlier. But we're gonna go on camera now. Yeah, he's a little rambunctious thing.
Yeah. Is he what's it called? Siamese?
He's at least part Siamese.
Yeah.
He's fixed, litter trained, and everything. He just showed up. We had to get rid. I don't know if you remember the solid gray cat we had. We had to get rid of him because he was going to have medical issues, and we couldn't afford to take care of him. So we gave him to a retired couple who has the money that they're going to get him the medical care and stuff that he needs. And the next day, my daughter's in the kitchen. I'm sitting here on the couch. I was playing a game or something, and start hearing what sounds like a kitten meowing, right? That scared kitten meow, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Looking around, we look out the kitchen window, and there he is hanging on the screen of our kitchen window.
That is a funny story.
That is a funny story.
That's where he came from.
We're not keeping him.
Uh-huh.
He's not staying here. He's a cat.
Well, I'm gonna hop off here and
get back to what it was you were doing before.
Yeah.
We appreciate the update there, Bloke. I understand that was not what you were planning on doing this evening, so I do appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in and giving us the update on how things are going with Angelina. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, you know.
Yeah, no problem. You're welcome on the show anytime.
All right, cool beans. It's kind. I'm gonna get there as much as I possibly can. I'm sure you guys already know I'm also in grad school, so
Yeah.
it's very, my time is very, very limited with what I can and cannot do. In the midst of trying to build this channel up too, raising children, going to work school full time, and then trying to do this thing is extremely difficult. So my apologies if I don't show up to as many as I want to, but I'll be there in spirit. If not, I'll be up in the chat too.
Yeah, I understand. I remember I just graduated from college 2 years ago myself, so I know. And I was just going for my bachelor's, and at the end of that, there was getting to those level 400 and above classes, things start, it gets hectic at that point. So I completely understand.
Yeah. So I'm also I'm in my clinicals too, my first round of clinicals. So I'm working like 7 days a week, and it sucks, but it is what it is, and we'll suck it up until next August, and after that, I'm done.
Okay, that's for. I'll flip the camera around real quick. That's for.
Oh, no.
I don't know if you guys can see. That's for. Kitty's not the most happy. That's for my fiance. Just brought her kitty out. That's for seeing if we can't figure out how to leash train the kitty, so that way we can have it outside with us a little bit.
She's not a girl.
Yeah.
Sorry, her. This is Bell Bell, or Bell Dinah is her name. That's what we call it, Bell Bell.
Yeah. He's definitely not happy.
No, most definitely not. Oh, and my fiance, California Belle, just threw down the gauntlet and said she is cuter than George over there on Gizzard's channel. So she really, she's throwing down the gauntlet tonight.
Here she is. Next time I'll show you guys.
Oh, look, you didn't hear the
Yeah, that's for that should between all the cats that you've shown tonight, there, Rich, that should help boost your viewership rating a little bit, right?
Yeah, that'll make up for all the making fun of Muslims, I guess. Oh yeah, if you guys haven't seen that, there were a couple of weeks where we were just tearing into Muslims on the show.
Well, that's for one thing I love about this show. It's an equal opportunity show. We'll tear into just about anybody. I mean, even the stupidity of our own group sometimes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and then speaking of the cats, in case I don't know if you heard what the name of the cat is, bloke, it's Ranger, because of the way he's got like that mask on his eyes. So he's named Ranger after the Lone Ranger.
I like it. Our cat, what is our cat's name? Mally. Next time I'm on here, I'll show it.
Yeah, when you've got a little more time to prep and you don't have a school paper to write.
Yeah, man, just continuous. I write about 6 a week.
That's one thing I'm so glad with the engineering degree that I got. We didn't have to write a whole lot of papers.
Well,
I wrote a few when I was in school. I had to write one for constitutional law class. I had to write 2 for the ethics class. Arguing from 2 different points of view. I actually had to argue one from something I believe, and then argue one that was the opposite of what I believe. Most students will do it. They'll argue they'll write the one arguing for what they don't believe, and then answer with what they actually believe. I did it the opposite way and got extra credit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is cool. Again, that's for. I understand you got to take off there, bloke. So that's for. Don't want to hold you too long.
Yeah. All right, man. You guys take it easy.
You too.
And we got to start wrapping this up anyway because Midnight Range has gotten his links out now, so he's going to be getting ready to go live. So, before you go, Blokey, anything you want to promote real quick?
Just check everybody's channel out. Give your support to the 2A community. If you can, check out my channel. I do have a website, and that will link you to pretty much every platform that I'm on. It's at blokes2cents.com. The YouTube channel is at blokes2cents. And if you're looking for the entry, it is how to enter a review of the MOD CGS group, MOD9 CGS group. That's the link. And there's an updated video to it that tells you the extras that came after I uploaded that video. So check that out. Like I said, the chances are pretty high. There's only like 20-something people involved. Guys, thanks for having me. You guys are awesome. I appreciate the invite, bud.
And I put the link out there on the YouTube side in case anybody out there has. Everybody's probably already seen it multiple times, but if there's anybody else out there who's new that hasn't spoken up or anything, there's the link to the video we were talking about earlier. Pickle, you got anything you want to promote?
Not really. I just want to say thanks for the invite. I appreciate the chat. I appreciate that. For the information that Bloke was able to give. If you haven't and you had the ability to, I encourage you to go over, check out his stuff, contribute to what you can. It's a good cause, and hopefully that little girl can get better soon. And appreciate it, man. Later.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Take it easy.
It's a really good thing that she's out of the intensive care unit at least, and no longer on the ventilator, so that's a good thing. But yeah, folks, if you can, give, anything will help. If you can't financially give for whatever reason, consider making a video, posting on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, to spread the message. So with that said, we will bid you a good night, and we will catch you next week. Have a good one.